Hello, my name is Matthew Pfeiffer with mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel, I create videos and content about toxic, narcissistically abusive relationships. And if you have a question that you want me to answer on this channel, make sure you send it to justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Just make sure you keep that email 2 to 3 paragraphs max, and also be very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. Also, make sure you hit the like notification and the subscribe notification so you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. I upload new videos on this channel 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And this video and my channel are both sponsored by BetterHelp. If you need more help than what this video can provide, make sure you connect with an online therapist through BetterHelp. It's more affordable than connecting with an in-person therapist. And when you use the link that's in my description box, you'll get 15% off your first month with an online therapist. With all that being said, let's get into today's topic. Let's get into today's video. Today, we have a person that wants their narcissist to go to treatment. The narcissist is open to getting help, and they're asking about what type of therapist should the narcissist be able to see and how it's going to be able to help. So let's get into today's email. Let's talk about this because this is something that I think that a lot of people are curious about. And how should you maneuver this? Is it a manipulative tactic at the hands of the narcissist? And so let's get into this and let's see if we can help this person out and in turn help out other people who might have similar struggles. So this email reads, "Hey Matt, I've learned so much from your videos, just being able to identify narcissistic behavior. I'm now separated and trying to heal, but I suggested that he go to anger management if we are to see any hope. What do you suggest is a good program?" So when we're talking about someone who might display some narcissistic traits and what type of program that they need to see, it's encouraged they see someone who is trauma informed, because there are so many aspects of narcissism that deals with trauma. And even when we're talking about narcissism, a lot of it comes from the trauma response of the fight trauma response. We talk oftentimes about the fawn response. We talk about the freeze response, but we don't talk about the fight response. And so I would encourage for them to find a trauma-informed therapist if you're to see any help, to see any hope or anything like that. And that person is also likely going to be able to deal with this person's anger and help them out with that potentially. But one of the things that we have to acknowledge is that if this person really is a narcissist, it's not likely going to work because they're not going to want to actually do the work. And it's more likely when we're dealing with someone who is narcissistic, it is more likely that that person is going to use these things as points for manipulation. So one of the things I don't encourage for people to go to therapy with someone who is narcissistic. However, I understand that everyone has to go through their own process to make sure that things won't work out and that sort of thing. So I respect that. However, it's important that you also let them figure it out themselves. Very important. Let him find his own therapist. The reason why I say this is that a lot of times people who struggle with codependency want to fix everything. And you also need to find your own therapist too. Quite often, I can't tell you how often I hear this, I see this, and I've even had people try to ambush me with their significant other in session with me. And what happens is that you think that this person is actually doing the work when it's really you are the one that is driving the entire ship. Because you're holding them accountable, you're watching them go to therapy, but you're actually, it's not due to their own volition. They are actually doing it just to please you. One of the things that happens when we try to force change on other people, 3 things happen. Either they fight the change, they fake the change, or they run from the change altogether. And we have to be very careful of them faking the change in situations like this when you're the one that's steering the ship. Especially when you basically have one foot out the door. It's very easy for someone to say that they're going to therapy, that they're doing all the right things, and for you to fall victim again. So let them do the work. Let them find their own therapist, and you're going to see very quickly whether or not they're actually doing the true actual work. And then also, I can't stress this enough. You go to therapy too, and I would recommend not seeing the same therapist because, again, one of the things that happens is that people who struggle with codependency and people pleasing will oftentimes push and take all of their focus, and they will look at the toxic narcissistic person, not realizing that they themselves also need help too. This isn't a binary situation where the narcissist, no, the abuse, the control, the manipulation that's happening is not your fault. However, every single change that happens in a relationship affects all parties involved. Even if the narcissist, let's say they go and let's say that I snap my fingers and they all of a sudden were healed and they were non-abusive, all of a sudden it's not likely, but let's just say hypothetically that happens. You would automatically you yourself would automatically have an issue. You would likely struggle with trust issues, and you also would struggle with self-worth issues because there's nothing to fix. And people who struggle with codependency don't feel valued in a relationship if there's nothing to do, if there's not a problem, if there's no one to fix. And oftentimes this is the reason why people who struggle with codependency and people pleasing struggle finding a healthy relationship once they leave the narcissist and oftentimes get back into another toxic relationship because they are subconsciously seeking that out in other people. They're looking for opportunities to be needed and to be wanted by somebody, but in an unhealthy way, because they find value in being needed and being wanted, but not in a healthy, supportive type of way, in a way that is self-deprecating to themselves. So let them do the work, but also at the same time, you do the work as well, because we have to understand the codependent narcissistic dance where both people are highly involved in this toxic dance with one another. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for writing. If anyone else would like for me to answer a question on here, make sure you send it to justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Just make sure you keep that email 2 to 3 paragraphs max. Be very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. If it's too long, if it's too lengthy, unfortunately, I will not be able to get to it. And also, don't forget, you can connect with an online therapist through BetterHelp. You'll get 15% off your first month with BetterHelp. It's oftentimes less expensive than connecting with an in-person therapist. With all that being said, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.